what I can say on the negotiation process is that it's at a totally unacceptable, insulting level. I cannot be specific.
We want to tell you folks that we've been engaged in a process that we believed to be a fair play process, and we understood now tonight that it's not. And we want to share that information with you so you understand.
It shows that we are not dealing with people that we can trust. If the rule says do this and you decide you can take it into your own hands, those are the people that we are entrusting our life with.
We did negotiate and have negotiated in good faith, and all of our concerns have been talked about. Not recognized, but at least discussed. The rules have changed, not by us, but by them. What they've offered us is insulting, and they have not even considered the impacts that we discussed, including traffic, as well as other concerns with people purchasing homes here, economic development with businesses that are closing, discretionary income, public safety, so on and so forth. All of those things we've discussed, all of those things we brought to the table, they haven't recognized it. And each one of us here, as well as you, are as frustrated as you are, and as frustrated as our department heads and our town manager is.
We need to, I as a citizen, have the need to have my town get the best mitigation package. Also, I need my town to feel that we're being respected, and I agree we've been insulted.
It shows that we are not dealing with people that we can trust.
Councilor Boyajian, you wanted to?
So I wanted to read into public record our correspondence with the Mohegan Sun that they've made clearly public and violated the private negotiations. I wanted to read the letter from Mohegan Sun as well as our response and a comment from myself, not from the council afterwards.
So you are reading this as a citizen?
As a citizen.
Okay.
It's not representing the entire council.
Thank you.
March 14, 2014. Addressed to James McKenna, Town Manager, Town of Winthrop. Dear Jim, in response to your recent offer of $5 million in unspecified annual mitigation to the Town of Winthrop and request for an additional $20,000 for additional study of traffic impacts, please be advised that we reject your offer and request. That said, we remain committed to working with you and the Town of Winthrop to enter into an agreement that will provide for the community impact fee as well as to identify known impacts from the development and operating of a gaming establishment in Revere in accordance with the Gaming Act. I note that we have provided you and your council with extensive traffic study information provided by our traffic consultant, VHB. This information has been peer-reviewed by third-party consultants working on behalf of the cities of Boston and Revere, as well as the MEPA, the Boston Transportation Department, MassDOT, Massport, and others. My comment is nowhere in there was mentioned the Town of Winthrop, or the city. Given the extensive information that has been provided thus far through the public review process for this project, it is unclear to me why you need additional funds to study the same traffic patterns. Furthermore, as data clearly indicates, there will be no measurable, unmitigated impact to the Town of Winthrop, its residents, in connecting with Mohegan Sun, Massachusetts resort proposal. To date, Mohegan Sun has reached agreements with 7 of our 10 surrounding communities. The community impact fee provided for in these agreements range from $50,000 to $2.5 million, the highest in the Commonwealth. Given this context, your current offer of $5 million seems not only out of line with the impacts to be experienced by Winthrop residents, but also out of line with other comparable surrounding communities. Siri J. Gary, I'm going to butcher the name, Luderitz, Vice President of Operations and Development, and CC'd on this supposedly private conversation. The Honorable Robert DeLeo, the Honorable Anthony Petroselli, Mayor Dan Rizzo, Mayor Martin Walsh, Secretary Richard Sullivan, MEPA Office Holly Johnson, Chip Tuttle, Sterling Suffolk Racecourse, Bruce Toby, Esquire, and John Stefanini, Esquire, on that private conversation and discussion.
Yeah.
So our response, again, to was, Dear Mr. Stefanini, on behalf of the town of Winthrop, I am writing to object to the actions of your client, Mohegan Sun, which improperly spread upon the public record MSN's version of the facts and events of the supposed confidential negotiations which have been underway between the town and MSN in an effort to conclude a surrounding community agreement as required by the Massachusetts Gaming Act. This breach of process occurred in a letter entitled Response to the Recent Offer of the Town of Winthrop, dated March 14th, 2014, and sent by Gary Luderitz. This action was an affront to a good faith behavior of the town in engaging MSM in these negotiations and to the spirit of fair play which the act intended to establish for the protection of Massachusetts cities and towns potentially impacted by the proposed gaming operation. The town recognizes MSM is within its right when it contests statements which the town may have made in writing and at your encouragement, is in parentheses, as part of the environmental review process now separately underway, and shares the perspective of various interested parties. By that right, but that right does not sanction the breach to which I object, which can only be construed as an attempt to perpetrate a political end run on the process which the law supposedly renders immune from political inference. The town expects that there will be no recurrence of this behavior, and that MSN's attempt to ostracize the town by unfairly characterizing the town's effort to assess project's impact and defend itself from the town will now stop. The town looks forward to the resumption of talks with MSN concerning a surrounding community agreement within the framework of process, town charter, and state law, which this unfortunate incident has governed, until this unfortunate incident has governed our negotiations. Sincerely, Bruce Toby. So again, as a private citizen, I feel that Mohegan Sun has violated the law by making private negotiations public. I suspect the Gaming Commission will ignore this, as they've allowed them to violate the commission rules since the neighbors in East Boston have rejected the casino. I do commend Mohegan Sun for three things. First, for saving jobs at Suffolk Downs, that's a good thing. Second, for getting our representatives to sit on the sidelines, convinced by the casinos that there's no negative impact to this community they represent. And third, for knowing they don't need to negotiate in good faith because they already know the odds are prohibitively in their favor because they feel the important decision makers are rooting for them, which is to our peril. This allows the ultra-rich 1%ers to nickel and dime our small community, trying to convince us that they would be a good neighbor when in reality they're only about maximizing the obscene profit they will make off of the backs of the working people of Winthrop.
Thank you.
And I'm done.
Public.
We are giving these people a right to print money based on a trust that they will do the right thing. To date, they have proven that they have no intention of doing the right thing. They found a way to get a loophole in East Boston and exploited it. They found a way to craft a bill that somehow felt that people living in an affected town would only be an affection up until their borders. Crime and everything that goes along with a casino will stop at the causeway and stop at the bridge, according to the crafters of the bill. There are two other elements that are very important, and they are the fact that this law was enacted by the Massachusetts Senate and House of Representatives, and we have one representative on each. And those representatives have to know that our inability to negotiate with this group, and you all know that they turned down our $5 million offer and didn't counter offer. They turned it down. They said, we don't even want to talk to you. The law gives them that right. And if you can't stop the casino, then there's two other avenues we have, and they come up in November of this year. And we finally have to realize that in this town for the last 30 years, we have had a governor of this state, we have had a Senate president, and a Speaker of the House. And our gift, an airport, a treatment plant, and a casino. And I'm not sure that that's what the citizens of the town have expected. This isn't working for us anymore, and we deserve something a little better.
And yet you're sitting here today with a letter that violates all the spirit of the law and just of good faith. If this is how this process begins, how do you expect it's going to end?
I've said this before too, but if the casino developers, if Mohegan Sun and Suffolk Downs are willing to disregard the needs of Winthrop at this stage in the game while they're competing for the license, while they're trying to impress the Gaming Commission, they are even more likely to completely disregard us once they get the license. It's worth mentioning that Winthrop already hosts the water treatment facility and a portion of Logan Airport. We may soon have trucks filled with other people's food waste coming down our streets. And how much can Winthrop take? I mean, the casino would be a third problem and a third thing that needs to be mitigated. And what's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back?
What I can say on the negotiation process is that it's at a totally unacceptable, insulting level. I cannot be specific. And as far as attendance at the meeting on the 25th, I hope everybody will be there. I will be there as a citizen, and I will be there in opposition to the casino.
Unfortunately, we're learning the hard way that the casino developers hold all the cards. And they're going to do what they want, when they want, and no one is going to stop them. The Gaming Commission, in the 2 years of their existence, haven't protected a single community. They let the East Boston vote go through. They did similar thing to the folks in Plainville. Springfield is facing a situation where they don't even have an agreement that says how much the people are going to get or how much they're going to spend there. And all of this goes on, and no one stands up for the little guy. And that's us, and that's Winthrop, and that's where we are right now. Next week, we've talked about this, March 25th, there's a meeting, it's a host surrounding community meeting, going to be held at the Boston Convention Center at South Boston. The hours are from 4 to 6. They will continue on as long as there are speakers that want to speak. People should sign up at the Gaming Commission website and ask to speak and support the town and speak out and tell the same stories you're telling here and get all your friends and neighbors because it matters. They ignored 4,000 plus votes in East Boston, and the next week they said, well, there's nobody here to oppose it. We need to show up at this meeting. Can you repeat what you just said?
I said that what we all need to do is be at the meeting on the 25th. That's one thing we need to do.
Yeah.